again, I won't read through the whole thing. It's on the slides if you want to read it. It's obviously on Nessa's page, Nessa's page as well. But the key takeaway is, this is the crash course. The key takeaway is analyze a substantial literary text in great depth to develop your interpretation. So you're reading canonical text, you're reading some great text here, you know, like Jane Austen, Charles Dickens, obviously Shakespeare's in here too. So you're reading some awesome text, developing an understanding um, of the text in great depth to have your own interpretation of what they mean. So with common mod, you know, it was about the experiences, but mod A it's about the comparison. But with mod B, it's now about studying the text on its own. It's about studying the text for what it is. And that's quite exciting. Again, thinking back to like, you know, I don't like English, that question. I think it can be a bit hard to get into the text sometimes, but reading the text and appreciating them for, you know, maybe what they're telling us about the world, that can make you like it just a bit better. And I think sometimes having that, forcing yourself to like it can work. So that's one way to go about it. Your interpretation, now remember, will be formed by having a solid understanding of the text construction, its structure, and its stylistic features. So you're looking at how is it constructed, what is the structure of the text, and look at the form, and then the stylistic features. And the stylistic features will have a lot to do with the context. Like with Jane Austen, you know, one of the texts is Emma. It's written by Jane Austen. It's written in the 18th, 19th century, right? So it captures that tension between romanticism and enlightenment. So you see stylistic features that sort of capture that tension between the context, between the changing context. Um, so here, now the big idea is that of textual integrity. What is the impact of the text? That is what textual integrity is. You're looking at the textual integrity of the text. What is the impact of the text? Does it portray any universal or enduring values? What effect does it have on the contemporary and contextual audiences? So basically, that's what textual integrity is. Textual integrity is what impact does the text have? You know, how is it showing these specific ideas, universal ideas that are relevant to both contemporary and cultural audiences? Um, and we will talk about textual integrity in a lot of depth as we go through our slides. So the syllabus, now what's different? No module focus. That is fake news. You know, you would have heard if you read the syllabus, it doesn't, unlike common mod where you're looking at human experiences, like I said earlier, or with module A where you're looking at the comparison, it can feel like with mod B there's no module focus, like it's just the text. But that is the module focus, that you're studying the text in you know, on its own. You're studying the text for what it is. With human experiences, you're studying the text for the human experiences it portrays. So it's not about the text, it's about human experiences. With textual conversation, it's about the ideas that they're exchanging and why they're exchanging. It's not about the text, it's about those ideas and the conversation, the similarities and differences. But with mod B, it's about the text. It's about what is it telling me, you know, by the time it was written, how it's written, why is it written. This is where we also bring in personal interpretation and evaluation, and we'll also be integrating scholars. So you'll be exposed to scholars here. You'll be looking at some research papers, but it's not not a big okay. What I mean by that is it's not going to be like a heavy duty work, you know, where you're reading loads and loads of research papers and looking for all critics. It's about just venturing a bit into scholarly articles and looking at what scholars thought about your text. If you've got any questions about that, please send them through. But I think we're all good for now. So, textual integrity, that is the measure of the text value. So, remember, for a text to have an impact, there needs to be the coherent use of language, form, and concepts. It's the measure of the text value. What is the text doing? The text also speaks to contextual and contemporary audiences. The contextual audiences are the audiences to which the time in which the text was written. So you know, with Shakespeare, his contextual audiences is the Elizabethan audience, and contemporary audiences are us. So your job, remember, is to question: does your text have textual integrity? Does it have textual integrity? You know, is there a coherent use of form, language, and concepts in order to have a specific impact? Secondly, you apply that personal interpretation of the text to concepts of textual integrity. You know, if the text, for instance, let's say if you again, I'm going to use the example of T.S. Eliot. Sorry, it's a modernist text. It's talking about, the big ideas of loneliness and alienation in a changing um, urban landscapes, like, using these ideas in the text to then talk about how the text is telling us about, a changing society with and people with changing morals in that society, and that is having an impact on both the contemporary and contextual audiences, because it's showing some universal ideas about loneliness and alienation and about morals and changing morals. So that's what we're doing here. It's a lot, without a doubt, it's a lot to sort of digest at once. But once you get to the text and you see, okay, this is what the text is telling me about the world, and this is the influence of the text on the people, on me as a reader and on the people who read it when the text first came out. This is what the text is doing. It's telling me ideas about universal values that have not changed, that have not shifted, or universal values that have evolved since time. Okay, now the end game here is the paper. So the kinds of questions that you can encounter. So the first one is, you've got your a statement. The primary concern of good nonfiction is to represent is a representation of truth. Then you've got a question: to what extent does the statement relate to your own understanding of your prescribed text? The second one, we've got again another statement. This is specific to the text. This was a general statement. This one is specific to the text. Falstaff has been labeled as one of the nature's predators. Write an extended response in which you challenge or affirm this view regarding Falstaff in Shakespeare's King Henry IV, Part 1. Then third one, you've got Eliot's poetry employs unique voices to privilege personal reflection over wider commentary. That is its strengths, that is its weakness. To what extent does the statement align with your view of Eliot's poetry? So it's a very specific question. This is it doesn't say here, but this is like a critic comment. So now we need to sort of either talk about whether our views align with that view. In your response, you must make detailed reference to the journey of the matter. So if you are doing T.S. Eliot, if you know that's the text you're doing for Mod A, you will be looking at 5 poems, but they can specify a specific poem in the text, in the test. So that's a bit annoying, but that's something that can happen, just to flag that to you now. So questions can be super specific here. Now,